if you're exercising and not taking creatine, you're leaving gains on the table.
Saw that? I predicted we were going to say.
Wow, dude. It's almost like we script this thing.
Is that I took so much creatine that my brain can predict what you're taking.
That's actually, yeah, that's actually true.
I know. So
You get brain
you guys want this
gains.
brain power, hop on it, guys. Let's go.
That's it. End the podcast.
All right. Take creatine. Everybody, even your grandma should be taking it.
That's also true.
Hi, guys. Victor, Julian, Beef at Miami Lakes. You already know. If you were taking your creatine, you would have been able to predict what I was about to say. So hopefully a lot of you guys are already on it. If not, hopefully we can convince you by the end of this episode. What do you think?
Yeah, that's the exact reason why I wanted to do this. My goal is to convince every single one of them, that you should be taking creatine.
Right now, and you're not taking creatine, why not?
You will by the end of this. All right, so creatine is like blowing up again, even though it's been on the market. It's one of the most popular supplements for decades now, but it's making its rounds because of social media, and everybody at least either knows what it is or has questions about it. But with that, of course, with all the hype, there's misconceptions and myths, and people still being scared of it and have a lot of questions. We actually asked our audience for questions, so we will be answering all those questions that we asked on Instagram. So we will go over all of that. We're gonna go over what it is in the first place, who should be taking it, and when, what the dosage should be, and any considerations that you need to know, basically at Creatine 101.
Yeah, so anything you guys want to know about creatine, pretty much we're going to try to cover it here. And of course, as you guys know, we're going to keep it general terms. We're not going to go too scientific. You guys don't have to know.
I'm going scientific.
Okay, he's going to go
So
scientific.
brace yourselves.
Put on your lab coats.
I'm going full Huberman.
All right, let's go, Hubie. Hube it up.
You think I'll ever make it on Huberman's podcast?
Yes.
All right, awesome.
I believe in you.
Yay. Aw.
Creatine is the most studied and is the supplement with
Has
the most
thousands
research.
of studies.
So all these myths and all this thing, all this hair loss and kidney problems and stuff,
Yeah,
we're going to
go
cover
over
all of that. So
yeah.
have no fear.
All right, so before we go into what creatine actually is, disclaimer, we don't recommend almost any supplements at all. We are we're very rare in the fitness industry, and to be honest, probably lost quite a bit of money not recommending things.
We left a lot of money on the table.
A lot of money on the table, but the reality is that most supplements out there are, at best will give you a tiny little bit of an edge, at worst, like nothing or actual health risks.
I like what some people call it expensive pee. And that's what most supplements are, is just expensive pee.
Yeah, or useless, or there's no data.
Yeah.
So when we recommend, or we actually tell clients and members to take something, know that we actually, A, we believe in it, and B, it has a ton of data and scientific evidence behind this supplement. I'm glad you said that, because one of the big myths that we should get out of the way right now is that creatine is this, steroid-like, almost has this taboo of it's what is that? I guess when you look at supplements, they're all a little bit
shady
weird, shady. Yeah. What is this? Who should be taking it? Do I need to cycle this? You know? And first thing I want to get right from the beginning is that creatine is a natural occurring compound in the body. So the body makes it. It's in our muscles. It's in foods like animal protein. So
red meat,
that
fish.
Creatine that you're taking from the little tub is actually something that your body already produces. So it's not this external compound. It's not something that was made, well, it probably was made in a lab, but it wasn't created synthetically, and it's some external compound.
And it's not something you would say, yeah, but the body builds testosterone, so is it just getting testosterone replacement?
What a great
Not at all,
point.
Because this is not gonna deplete your, if you take too much testosterone, your body's naturally gonna stop creating that testosterone. So this is not that. This is something that your body's gonna keep going forever. We're just as the word says, supplementing it.
Yep.
And adding a little more, especially if you're vegan, vegetarian, you don't eat these meats. I think you need.
Yeah, and even if you do eat the meats, you're not getting enough to really replenish the stores.
Exactly.
But we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Meats. Sorry, Arby's paid me.
By the way, if you do want to learn about steroids and testosterone, go back 2 episodes.
2 already? Wow.
Yep.
Time flies when you're making hella content. So stupid.
All right, I'm gonna try my hardest not to go into exercise physiology because it can get a little complicated. So I think that an analogy would probably be the best to explain what creatine is. So creatine is basically mostly found in our muscles, and the reason why we need it is because it's literally like energy for muscle for movement, especially for high intensity activities.
ATP.
So ATP. So the reason, the analogy I want to make is, let's say you have a sports car, right? And let's just pretend for the sake of the analogy that the sports car has two different fuel sources, right? It has one.
It's a hybrid.
It's a hybrid. That's a good analogy. So think of creatine as like you're like, I'm gonna go to the racetrack. This is like the best fuel I can possibly have. I want the best possible fuel for this high intensity, right? Going around a track and really getting the most out of this car. And then other energy sources, we're just gonna say that is the other part of the engine, right? So all creatine is you're replenishing stores that are already in your muscle cells that are gonna be used, breaking down to be used for energy, for lifting, for sprinting, for doing any type of high intensity activity. And of course, it's used in other activities as well. We're oversimplifying, but for the sake of this and people who exercise, the analogy would be you're about to go for a workout, or you work out, you're about to take your car to the racetrack. Wouldn't you want to A, fill up your gas tank, and B, have the best possible fuel for the job that's about to be done?
Absolutely. And I think if you think about it that way, it's not something like, oh, I'm gonna go work out, let me take my creatine. It doesn't work that way. Like,
no, we're gonna tell you like how
we're
it
gonna tell you
works.
how to load. But yeah, that's a good analogy. That's definitely the proper way to think about it.
And the thing is, you already have it. You're already using it in
You got
your
a little fuel
muscles.
in your tank.
And all it is just, here's what I would like to, if you get nothing else from this, is it's free gains. It's taking something that's just giving you free gains.
No cons.
Nope. Well, yeah, we're gonna talk about how there is literally almost nothing, like nothing negative about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, your body uses creatine. Technically, phosphocreatine is one of the energy sources that it uses that's in the muscle for those type of activities. So it's like, hey, let me replenish that so I could, not only does it help with being stronger and increasing power output, but also even with like recovery or like taking longer for the muscle to fatigue. So who wouldn't want that?
Absolutely. If you're an avid lifter and you know some days are better than others, like why not just give yourself that advantage anytime
Exactly.
you can take it?
Okay, so let's talk about the benefits. These, like we said, these are all shown in clinical trials. This isn't just like
We're not just
some
saying it's
influencer on
we're not saying it's a
Instagram.
self creatine.
Yeah, this is what actual studies show. So increased strength and power output. So if you're an athlete, no brainer.
I'm already good.
All right, no more. That's it. We're done.
All right.
Increased lean mass. So muscle, which
Your
is what
muscles
we all
look
want.
fuller, doesn't it?
It pulls
draws
water
into your muscles, so you look full, nice.
Exactly.
Full. And now I know you're thinking, ladies especially, oh, it's gonna make me look more full. Not like that. Like you're gonna look more. Your muscles are gonna look more defined. You're gonna look like you exercise.
Yeah, your muscle is like 70% water, so you want water in the muscle cells. And yes, you may experience like not weight gain, but maybe you won't lose weight. And notice I'm saying weight, not fat. Because of that added water in the muscle, but it doesn't make you bloated. That's a myth. It's not gonna make you gain fat.
Yeah.
So again, if you're one of these people that's obsessed with the scale, I mean, yeah, you're probably not gonna take any of this stuff because you're so obsessed with the number. But if you're someone who cares about actual gains, like making real gains in muscle, losing fat, all the good stuff, again, it's a no-brainer.
Absolutely.
The other thing is enhanced recovery, and you're less likely to fatigue, so you'll go a little longer without fatiguing. Again,
Exercise.
Great, we want it. Hey, I don't know, it's any high intensity
Ask either.
type of thrusting, hip thrusting. Here's the really cool one. There's a lot of research on cognitive benefits, so like brain health, from memory to providing energy, because the brain uses up a lot of energy. And again, this is like, this is just giving you energy when you need it, whether it's to the muscle. We used to have all this research. I was like, for exercisers, for weightlifters, for athletes. Now, a lot of interesting things are coming out about just brain and cognitive health, and specifically with like the older population, they need it even more.
Exactly, and it helps combat some of these neurological disorders.
Exactly, or just decline, like natural decline in age.
Yeah.
So I think it's fantastic, and I'm looking forward to like more research on that end of it. But to be honest with you, I was already super convinced with creatine. I recommend it.
And then we did
I
research,
did the research.
yeah,
I'm like, give me more.
Oh no, I took my creatine immediately. As soon as I finished the research, I'm like,
It's amazing.
hell yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
The other thing is, as you age, like we said, there's the natural decline, like cognitive decline, but there's also muscle loss and sarcopenia and things like that. So obviously to prevent that, you obviously want to be exercising and training, but then it's like, again, give yourself that little bit of an edge, give yourself
little boost.
free gains. Why wouldn't you?
Like people, like you drink your coffee in the morning to give you that energy. This is like your brain's coffee, your muscles' coffee. Like
Exactly.
fuel them, except it doesn't have the negative side.
The other thing too is that it's the cheapest thing there is. It's one of the cheapest supplements.
I think I kind of want it.
We gotta put that up.
You don't want this. Get out of here.
You know what? I don't want no hangover. I can't get no hangover.
It doesn't give you a hangover.
Well, I'll get addicted to it or something?
It's not habit forming.
Oh, okay, well, I don't know. I don't want to overdose on it.
You can't OD on it.
It's not going to make me want to have sex, is it?
It makes sex even better.
Sounds kind of expensive.
It's the cheapest drug there is. You don't want it.
I think I kind of want it.
It makes you less tired. It makes your muscles look better.
You don't want any part of this, do we?
I think I kind of want it.
Let's go over some myths and misconceptions. You
All
want to
right.
take over on that?
Yeah. I know all the myths. As usual, I'm Jamie. He's the other guy.
I want to be the guy with the mustache.
That's Jamie. Sorry. Taken.
He's not even the cool one.
No, the other guy's cool. Jamie's ornery. You know what? You are the guy with the mustache.
I told you.
And I'm the effeminate other
I
one.
was gonna say you're the effeminate one.
Leave it in. That's what she said. Myth busting time. The first one and most common one is that creatine causes kidney damage.
That's my mustache.
You already have a mustache.
No, but that guy has a real
He
mustache.
has a walrus mustache.
Yeah,
We've talked about him ad nauseum.
Too much.
Ad nauseum. We've discussed.
So you
these
can't
guys.
say Mythbusters without thinking of those guys.
For sure. And I love them too.
R.I.P.
R.P. Grant.
Half the team is dead.
No, it's just Grant.
Nope. Half the team has a problem.
Yeah, but they're not dead. And research has proven that that's false. So that's inconclusive.
Yep.
So that's myth number one busted.
Yeah, I even just in preparation for this, I saw other video. I already knew that was a myth, but then I saw like actual doctors reviewing the research because I wanted to be. That's another thing. Like when we recommend something, like I believe that there's like a responsibility. You have a dog, you got a responsibility.
You go out there.
Too many movie quotes, but you have a responsibility. Like when you recommend something, like you better hope that it's like it's actually legit. So and there's no complications. I just tell people, hey, take this.
Now, however, if you have a pre-existing kidney condition, I would check with a doctor.
I would check. No, you always check with your doctor, especially if you have something. But they've even done research on people with kidney issues, and it doesn't seem to show any damage. So yeah, number one, busted. What's next?
The second one is that creatine causes bloating or weight gain, but
we already talked about that.
Prove that because it's not bloating. You might retain a little bit of your weight, not fat.
Yep.
But you're not gonna bloat. You're not gonna gain weight. You're not gonna gain
exactly.
fat.
Also, if you got that nice water in your muscles, they're looking good, and you're losing. You got your diet going, and you have your exercise, and you're losing fat. I promise you're gonna look better. Forget about what the scale says. If you're on track, you don't want to look flat, right? Yep. You actually want your muscles to have that nice pump. So, and honestly, I've never seen this to be like a noticeable thing. Some people, that's another thing that we should talk about. Creatine effects, they vary within individuals. Like some people take creatine and like, I feel the energy, I feel the pump. And other people's like me, I don't really feel that much of a difference, even though I take it every day.
But still, knowing all this, I don't want to not take it.
100%. I'm taking it no matter what.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to say that. Like you're not gonna see this physical pump. It's not like if you're on
steroids
or something where like
steroids.
You're gonna notice. No, this is gonna be very subtle. But again, it's like don't worry about the quote unquote bloating. It's not bloating, it's just more water into the muscle, which is what you want.
Yeah. All right. Myth number 3. You need to cycle off creatine.
Ooh, this is a good one.
Because there is a loading cycle that is not, it's optional.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, it's optional.
We're gonna talk about that when we talk about
so is
dosage.
there a cycling off?
No, because this is one of those myths that happened because everybody thought that this was like some sort of steroid or something in that category, right? Like you cycle off steroids because there's an actual like scientific reason to do that, but there is no reason. All you're doing with the creatine is you're loading up and replenishing energy in your muscle cells. You can do that indefinitely. And as a matter of fact, they've done research that to see if your natural creatine stores are getting depleted because you're introducing it. And to a little tiny extent, yes, but it's not significant enough to say like, oh, I'm gonna need this for the rest of my life because my body's gonna stop making it. Like, that's not a non-issue.
It's not like the testosterone factory that almost shuts down when you use that much testosterone. Yeah. So this is something you can take indefinitely.
You can just take it.
Good
like I am.
All right.
Ta-da-da.
All right. I'll give you some too when you're
in the grave.
Oh my God, it's dark. I was gonna say on a hospital bed, but that's even worse. Put the IV of creatine. It's what he wanted. It's what he would have wanted. All right, next myth. Myth number 4: creatine is just for bodybuilders. like fight milk,
Speaking of bodybuilders, Emma, come here.
creatine. And you're taking a picture of it? What do you want me to do? Walk over and throw it in the
here.
garbage?
So speaking
Fight
of
milk.
bodybuilders, here's
4
one right here.
Bodybuilder.
And,
Can you show us your run? How you run?
Can you flex?
That's how she runs.
Elbows out.
Yep. Can you flex for the audience?
No, I'm not.
Can you ever put your arms this way, or are you too swole for that?
I mean, like, I gotta really try.
Yeah.
Look at that pose. Thank you.
So even if you're not a bodybuilder like Emma here, you should still be taking it. As a matter of fact, everyone should be taking it, especially
Even
if you
your grandma,
exercise.
even your grandma.
Even if you exercise.
Yeah.
So like we said, it's like it's too many benefits and at such a cheap price that you like
Cheap
what
price,
you have nothing to lose and
financially
everything to gain.
And biologically. Like there's
Exactly.
no, you're not sacrificing your kidney health, your liver health, you're not doing anything. You're just,
And as a matter of fact, I would argue it's more
Making gains.
important if you're not a bodybuilder because you like they're training 6-7 days a week.
Their
They're
joints are getting stronger, their
maximizing.
muscles are getting
You're
stronger.
probably training
Yeah.
2 to 4 times a week, so you need everything,
Every
every
advantage
little
you get,
edge,
for
every
sure.
advantage.
For
So
sure.
even if you are one of those people that's training 2 times a week, even more of a reason to just add that.
100%.
One of the myths we haven't talked about is, well, they make my hair fall off.
Oh yeah,
That's
the
a
hair
pervasive
loss.
one.
The hair loss.
Yeah, and the answer is no. They've done extensive research on this. It actually doesn't really affect your testosterone levels, which is why people think that it leads to, because DHT is what
Leads to
can
the
lead to
hair, yeah.
hair loss. So it doesn't really affect that in any way. So again, myth.
Busted. All right, that's it for the myths. Now we're gonna kind of teach you guys how to use creatine because that's a big question. I already asked, do I have to do the loading phase? Do I have to take it right before my workout? Do I take it after? Do I have to take it every day? So we're gonna address these.
Okay, let's make things super simple. For as far as how much of it, 5 grams a day, every day, seems to be like the standard advice, right? And I always like to simplify things, I don't like to tell people, well, you should take 7.5 as a loading phase for a week. And it's like, nobody has time for that. Everybody's busy, right? So make it simple. This is about as simple as it gets. 1 scoop of this in your protein shake or in your coffee or whatever by itself. If you're a maniac, I know people that do this. I don't know why, like Joe Cool. Like not dry heave it. He'll put it in his mouth and then put the water in after. Like there's no need for that, but
Now, something we didn't talk about in the myth part, but you just made me think of it, is a lot of people say it upsets their stomach.
oh, good one.
So what do
I'm
you
one
think
of those
about that?
people.
Yeah, it upsets your stomach.
Okay, but I
Supposedly-
don't want to like harp too much on that because I don't want to like
No,
deter
for
people
sure,
from
but
it.
I think it's safe. We should
If you
mention
have
it.
a sensitive stomach, don't take it on an empty stomach.
Yeah, they recommend taking it with a meal, and they also recommend creatine nitrate, but the evidence just isn't there yet. That
Oh,
you
we
can,
didn't even talk about that.
Yeah, there's 5 different forms of creatine.
Yeah.
Mono is the most popular. And
Yeah,
so you should be taking
creatine monohydrate is what you want, which is the most popular and the most
cheapest.
researched
Yeah.
one.
Creatine nitrate is the one that supposedly is less harmful on the stomach, but again, the jury's out because there's not enough research for
Yeah,
it.
and I'll tell you from personal experience, I'm one of those people with a sensitive stomach, and if I take it on an empty stomach, I do feel a little bit of like nausea. But if I take it with food or a protein shake, no problem at all. So just take it with food or shake. But 5 grams a day, they used to think that there was a loading phase, which basically means you like load up on it for like a week or so with a lot of it. By the way, the more you take, the more GI issues that you can have. So I wouldn't do that. It's very simple. Just take 5 grams a day. One of the more common questions too is, do I take it on non-workout days?
Yes.
The answer is yes. You can get away with, only on workout days, but I heard somebody say this, I think it was BioLane, and he's absolutely right. It's a lot easier to have a habit of, I take this every day,
with my vitamins.
as opposed to,
Yeah.
I only take it, 4 times a week. Are you going to remember? No,
Yeah.
just take it every day, either in the morning, with a meal, with your breakfast, or, if you work out every day, right after your workout, right before your workout.
And we know
So-
consistency is key with it. Like, you have to be on top of it.
Yeah, because it's a cumulative effect. You're like building up on those creatine reserves, and that requires like, basically having it all the time in order to just make sure that your gas tank is full, so to
Exactly.
speak. As far as timing, this was another common question that we got, which is, do I take it before workout, after? The answer is it doesn't matter. Again, just take it at the same time every day. Some research shows that it's a little bit more effective if you take it after the workout, but it's so like minimal. You don't want to focus on the details here, on those little tiny details. Just take it every day.
Talking about that, that's what I've always heard, that it doesn't matter when you take it. But then this whole Djokovic thing came out. Have you heard that? That he was screaming?
Oh, have I?
Sufriendo pero manteniendo el saque.
Of course
And
I
he's
have.
using it like a Gatorade, like an electrolyte. That I've never heard of.
Yeah, I've never heard that either, but you can...
And then he went off.
I should have looked into that, but number one, we don't really know what's in that cup.
Creatina could be like chicken.
Hasn't there been
broth,
some weird stuff where like, is it him or somebody mixes something in the crowd and just hands it to him? We don't really know what's in there, but it would make sense to me that I don't know how like quick it works in your body. Like, do you digest that right away and it goes straight into your muscles, right? But it would make sense that if he is doing a high intensity thing like tennis, that you're just loading up on water, electrolytes, and then creatine. Screw it, why not? With guys like that too, like professional athletes, they're very superstitious. So it could also be like I need my creatine and my electrolytes and my thing to perform.
My dirty underwear, whatever it is.
Whatever it is, yeah. I don't wash my underwear. I wear the same one.
Whatever.
But honestly, like I'd be lying if I told you that it works immediately like that.
I've never heard of that.
I don't know.
I found that interesting.
The type of creatine, like we said, creatine monohydrate, which is just your standard, and you want to look for one that is just that. Okay. I'm not a big fan of the flavored ones because I don't like them adding extra stuff.
There's one ingredient. Creatine monohydrate.
Boom. Yeah. And that's why we might as well shout them out now, but we go with Thorne.
Thorne.
One of the most respected supplement companies and actually partners of BeFit. So if you click on the link in our description, go to that link and you get 10% off that's going to be added at checkout. So you get a little discount here for being loyal listeners of the podcast. The other thing is when you are taking creatine, I was even going to say when you're on creatine, but see, you don't want to use verbiage like that. When you're taking creatine, stay hydrated because of what we just said. It does pull water into the muscles. That doesn't mean anything bad. It's just like you need more water. You need water anyway when you're exercising. So just an extra little tip there. Just drink water and perhaps some electrolytes if you sweat a lot. So now let's actually go over did we cover everything before we go into questions?
How to take it, myths, pros.
I guess the only other thing would be like if somebody has questions on like, oh, I'm an endurance athlete. Do I still need it? Yes. Yeah. Everybody needs it.
Just take it.
That's
I'm
it.
a grandmother of 3. Just take it.
Just take it. But yeah, obviously high intensity activities are more directly correlated with like phosphocreatine use. Exactly. But your body energy systems are a little complicated, but your body is using, and it's not like you go for a run and, oh, no creatine. I'm not using creatine. I'm only burning fat for this. No, you're still using creatine phosphate no matter what type of if you're moving your body, you're using it. So everybody needs it. All right, questions. Let's pull up our Instagram. First question is from Hialeah. Is it true that creatine gives you energy and helps you grow the muscle?
Yes.
Yeah, that's exactly what it does.
Exactly
in a nutshell.
Beautiful. It's one sentence
from our
description of
resident,
it.
one of the most committed people we know, Raymond. What is the real amount that one should take daily? Is it based on gender, weight, rate of activity? That's actually a really good question.
Great question.
He says, this guy knows his stuff. 5 grams seems to be low for individuals over 200 pounds, where it might be right for someone more in the 150 to 180. He's actually right about that.
That's a great question.
There is a little bit of research that shows that a little bit more, if you're a little bit...
7 grams?
Yeah, it could be like 7 to 10.
Okay.
And I believe, I don't know why, but I theorize that there is going to be studies that show that taking a little bit more for like more advanced people, it probably gives you a little more bang for your buck.
Yeah.
One thing's for sure, it's not going to hurt you.
Yeah.
So if you're a guy like this who's like, preparing to compete, works out a lot, is 200 plus pounds, you can't go around with 7.5, 8 grams a day.
Yeah, because it makes sense. You're not going to be 110 pounds and 220. Somebody that doesn't lift with an experienced lifter and give them the same dosage.
Now, this is really interesting. We didn't even talk about it, but he said based on gender, they've done studies specifically because they used to say that, with women, there's always a consideration. They have their hormones are constantly like shifting around. So it's like, is it going to get in the way with that? Not at all.
No,
Again,
I actually heard the
super
opposite.
safe.
I heard it's great for premenopausal women.
Yep.
I was reading the same thing. It was
so
fascinating.
male, female, doesn't matter.
Grandma, grandpa.
And then one of the questions that Steph had was when you're breastfeeding, which is really good. It's a great question. And our dietitian actually answered it on the chat. And she said that.
And we're going to put her video response here.
Video?
Oh.
No, it wasn't a video. But
she was FaceTiming in.
I think she said that it can go through the milk a little bit. So your baby's going to be jacked, giving him an advantage.
Yeah. Pull up out of the crib.
And she's, my wife is breastfeeding too, so she's just being on the cautious side and not doing it because they've never done clinical trials on freaking babies.
Not yet.
So with that kind of subset of the population, just don't do it to be safe. But my guess is it's not a big deal.
I would say it's not a big deal, but either way, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah,
and
why
if you are going to do it, just ask your doctor.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to know, but...
Ask them anyway. And let us know.
My doctor goes to me for exercise advice. Ali Segovia, an avid listener. Shout out to her. Thank you for always commenting. What happens if I miss a day? I told her you lose all your gains.
Oh, you're cooked. Sorry,
all
Ali.
of them.
Stop working out. Just give up.
No big deal. Just get right
hop
back on
the
track.
wagon. Yeah, just get back on. double it and take 10. I'm just kidding. Don't do that.
Don't do that. Can you take it on days you don't work out? We already answered that. By the way, thank you guys for submitting all these questions. We appreciate it.
Yeah, we had a good amount of questions. We've just answered most of them before we got to this section. Takeaways. Take creatine. Take that away.
I mean, did we convince you?
If not, we're shitty salesmen.
Yeah. All right, I think we're
But
pretty
honestly,
persuasive.
we've gone, like you said in the beginning of the video, we survived the Herbalife phenomenon. We've survived
What was the other one? Shreds?
shreds.
They
We've
were willing.
survived-
They were willing to pay me a lot of money
We've
to
survived
post
a
for them.
lot of supplements and people like coming in here like, oh, sell my supplement. Like, you guys don't sell supplement? You don't sell fat burners? Like,
Or clients being like, "Hey, do I take this fat burner? Somebody told me that this pre-workout,
yeah.
this and that." It's just
it's always like, no, you're wasting your money. It's bullshit.
Unnecessary.
Don't come to us with these pyramid schemes. So if we're recommending this to you guys, it's obviously from a good place, and this is obviously the only supplement that we recommend. And we don't consider protein powder.
it's one of the
supplement, so-
most by far researched and like doubly researched. Like it's thousands of studies to prove its efficacy, and it's only getting better. Every single fitness professional that I know that knows their stuff recommends it.
Exactly.
So, also, if you don't take creatine, I'll go to your house and pound you. So
Hey, don't
physically.
bother me with a good time. Don't threaten me with a good
do
time.
people still say that, or is that like a
Pound you?
1950s?
That's like a sexual term. Pound Town?
No, but like.
You never been to Pound Town?
But like
I'll take
bully,
you.
the bully always said that. I'm
gonna
pound,
pound
you.
ya.
Yeah,
Yeah, nobody talks anymore. That's
Okay.
for your anti-skinny 1950s woman.
yeah. That's vamoose.
That's vamoose.
Look
Here
at the
comes
skinny
Skinny
broad.
Betty.
That skinny dame is here. The benefits, like we said, go beyond just fitness stuff and muscle. It's cognitive. It's brain health. So, again, free gains,
What are you guys doing?
cheap. Buy from us.
Just like Julian.
We get 3 cents for every purchase. So
We're killing it. We don't want to brag, but we're
Nah.
killing it.
I'm putting my kids through private school because of our creatine.
Sales. So guys, hopefully you enjoyed this episode. We're drinking creatine in our cups.
Hells yeah.
If you have any other ones like this is a very important topic that people ask us all the time. So if you have any other ones like this, let us know. We'll gladly
And if someone asks you about creatine, just send them this podcast.
send them this podcast or send them the link to go buy it. Guys,
Oh, yeah,
enjoy. See you next week on an episode of the B-Fit Brothers.
Podcast.
That was horrible.
Hold on, wait. This is the outro.
I'm censoring that. I can't show that.
I like to snort my creatine.